The PFL just announced their first card of the year, and they are starting off with a bang as they are doing the PFL versus Bellator Champions card. And it goes down February 24th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Interesting note about that date. A week later, the UFC was originally scheduled to take their first trip to Saudi Arabia with their March 2nd fight night card, but it seems like the powers to be did not like the type of card or the depth of the card that they were already planning. So that card is rumored to be postponed until June 8th, which is a very interesting date, as I'll show you guys real quick here. Islam Makhachev, if you guys take a look at a couple of his last tweets on December 28th, he said, "I'll be ready to smash someone in March or see you after Ramadan." And I believe he was alluding to the Saudi Arabia card. And then on January 10th, he puts June 8th UFC pay-per-view, which is the date that they're targeting their Saudi Arabia debut, versus Gaethje, November MSG versus Oliver Arman, and then February 2025 against anybody. So he's plotting out his next 3 days. Again, the most intriguing one there being the June 8th date, which is the next card for the UFC that is being planned for Saudi Arabia. But the news at hand is obviously the PFL versus Bellator Champs card here. Something to note, Bellator currently has 9 champions and PFL on their main roster has 6 champions. So there is a little bit of compromising that has taken place for this card to take part. So let's quickly go over the card here. Well, at least let's look at their champions as of right now. So for 2023, there was 6 champions crowned. Henan Faheda, Impa Kasanganay for light heavyweight, Magomed Karamov for welterweight, Olivier Aubin-Mercier for lightweight, Jesus Pinedo for featherweight, and then women's featherweight was Larissa Pacheco winning it once again. For the Bellator side of things, current champions, heavyweight champ Ryan Bader, light heavyweight champ Vadim Nemkov, middleweight champ Johnny Eblin, welterweight champ Jason Jackson, lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov, Patricio Pitbull, the featherweight champion, Patchy Mix, the bantamweight champion, and then we have 2 women's champions here, Cyborg for the featherweight title and Liz Carmouche for the flyweight title. So we have 5 fights on tap here for this card, or 4 title fights on tap here. Main event is going to be for the heavyweight title between Henan Faheda against Ryan Bader. Intriguing fight there. Obviously, Bader, a career-long light heavyweight up until a couple years ago where he decided to go to heavyweight, where he's been successful and obviously still the champion, and he's taking on a big guy in Henan Faheda. Gotta believe that Bader is the more complete fighter here. As long as he can keep his lights on, he likely goes out there and outworks Henan Faheda here. Now, this is the intriguing one, 185-pound title, the PFL middleweight title, which is a title they do not have. If you guys remember, we jumped from light heavyweight to welterweight, and Impa Kasanganay is currently the light heavyweight champion, but he's going down to 185 pounds to take on Johnny Eblin, 14-0 undefeated Johnny Eblin. So Impa Kasanganay already fighting for a title that he's not the champion of, but they wanted to make sure that Johnny Eblin was still on the card. So they put them face-to-face here. Again, Impa Kasanganay has competed at middleweight for the majority of his career. Obviously went to light heavyweight to take advantage of the lack of competition, if you want to call it that, in the PFL. And he was successful in winning their title, but he is dropping down to 185 pounds to be the co-main event against Johnny Eblin. Third fight here, the PFL featherweight title. This is a true featherweight champion versus champion matchup where we have Jesus Pinedo, who just won this past year, going up against Patricio Pitbull. Intriguing fight there. Obviously, both guys strikers. Should be a fun fight. Could be the fight of the night as well, considering how these guys normally throw down. And then the last title fight we have here, Magomed Karamov against Jason Jackson. Grinder versus grinder. Who's going to be able to implement their grinding style a little bit more effectively? Very intriguing fight there. Very, very happy about that, especially with it being welterweight versus welterweight. Now, here is the rest of the card. No more champions, or at least champion versus champion fight, but we do have Bellator light heavyweight champion Vadim Nemkov going up to heavyweight to take on Bruno Capoloza. Now, again, Vadim Nemkov is the light heavyweight champion, and he could have easily gone up against Impa Kasanganay, but that would leave nobody for Johnny Eblin to fight. So it seems like Vadim Nemkov was more than happy to go up a weight class just to be on this card and stay active, not defending his light heavyweight title, but taking on a tough challenger in Bruno Capoloza. Clearing out the rest of the card, they didn't announce a couple more fights here. as soon as I started recording this, but let's quickly talk about the rest of them. Thiago Santos against Yoel Romero, former UFC vet versus former UFC vet. Very intriguing fight there, obviously, again, taking place at 205 pounds. Neither of these guys wanted to go back down to 185. Completely makes sense. There have been 205ers since they left the UFC anyway. Clay Collard versus AJ McKee at 155 pounds. Very fun fight there. Obviously, we know that McKee is trying to make that permanent transition to 155 pounds. This is another task for him to go up against the boxing heavy style of Clay Collard. Should be a very fun fight. Biagio Ali Walsh, who has been getting special treatment from the PFL brass, finally makes his professional debut. He takes on Englishman Chris Morris, who is also going to be making his professional MMA debut. Let's quickly look into Chris Morris here. 11-2 amateur record, not bad. Currently on a 3-fight winning streak, not too bad. Josh O'Connor, a familiar face, who is obviously undefeated still. So good fight and level of competition for Chris Morris on the regional scene, it seems. This one is an intriguing one. Gabriel Alves Braga going up against Aaron Pico. Again, there's this theme here where it's PFL versus Bellator, but I feel like there's going to be a change in this matchup. If you guys have been keeping up with the MMA news recently, Gabriel Alves Braga's father, who is a former fighter and I believe was pretty much the head coach of Braga, was murdered in Brazil on Monday. So very unfortunate news coming there. I'm sure Braga is still mourning the loss of his father. It's only Tuesday, so it happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or if it was the week prior, but I believe it was yesterday. So they might be looking for a replacement for Braga. You know, that's a pretty quick turnaround to have to deal with such a devastating thing in your life, especially for somebody who is so important to his MMA career. So I think that we're going to have see him, unfortunately, pull out of that fight. But hopefully they can make it again down the road, because that is a fantastic and phenomenal fight. Clarissa Shields back on the MMA wagon here. She takes on Kelsey DeSantis. And then we have Abdullah Al-Khatani, one of the better fighters hailing from Saudi Arabia that we've seen in a long time. He's taken on Indian fighter Idu Kundala Rao, never heard of this guy, 4-1. And then we have an amateur fight here between Malik Bashail versus Vinicius Pereira. So a decent overall card here serving for the UFC, or for the PFL. We knew they wanted to do this PFL versus Champions fight. What I'm really hoping that we would have gotten was Larissa Pacheco versus Chris Cyborg. You know, it seems like there have been a lot of issues in terms of them trying to get a deal done with Cyborg. Cyborg has a boxing fight coming up very shortly here, so I think that's the reason they've kind of held out on not putting her on this card. And then there aren't really other champions from PFL that could have matched up with any of the other champions from Bellator. So solid serving from Bellator in terms of what we're going to be seeing from them. Again, PFL versus Bellator. I believe we're going to see a couple of these. It says PFL versus Bellator Champs. So there might be something in the future where they do PFL versus Bellator Contenders or something like that. So that's something to keep an eye on. It seems like the PFL is ready to start rolling out their 2024 schedule. What better way to start it with it than this amazing Champions card? So keep your eyes peeled for that. February 24th, I believe it will probably be in the middle of the day as well. I believe there is a UFC card that night as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. February 24th. Yeah, February 24th, Mexico City. Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval 2. I'm sure we'll be able to watch both of these events. Obviously, again, the PFL card taking place earlier in the day, and then the Mexico City card taking place later. So full day of MMA on February 24th. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah. What do you guys think about this PFL versus Bellator card? Let me know in the comment section below. Who do you think ends up winning? And if they could have put any other matchups on this first big card that they're having between the two promotions, where did they fumble the bag? Let me know. Hit me in the comment section. See you guys later. Peace.